All right, everybody ready to go? Yeah. All right. So who here is on LinkedIn? LinkedIn. Everybody here has a LinkedIn profile? You don't have a LinkedIn profile? Yes, okay. Gotta get the hands up. Who here has a LinkedIn profile but really only knows how to click like on articles or just add a new contact or anything beyond that? Yeah, so we're all here really to learn about LinkedIn and how to really take advantage of it for business purposes, to grow our network, but also leverage those networks as well to help grow our business. So what we've done is the Ontario chapter's invited Stacy Maynard along today. Now Stacy has her background is in digital marketing, and talk a little bit about her experience. I've got it written down here because the list is so long that I couldn't memorize it. So Stacy has experience in online marketing, corporate branding, social media training, profile writing, video and social media training, podcasting, and personal branding. I'm sure we can add to more to that. But those are the relevant things for what we're doing in our industry. And I think Stacy's going to really help us take our LinkedIn profile to the next level. Thank you guys all for coming. And before I forget, please stick around to the end. If you want to have a professional photo taken for your LinkedIn profile, we will be providing professional photograph services afterwards. So without further ado, everyone, Stacy Maynard, and thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Is this thing on? Excellent. Hi, everybody. Thank you for that awesome introduction. It makes me sound really good. Yeah, you walked in and says, is there anything specific you want me to say? And I'm like, no, you can make stuff up. I'll introduce myself again a little bit later. So thank you, and all of a sudden your name went right out of my head. No, not Paul, you. Yeah, what's your name again? Jessica. Went right out of my head all of a sudden. I knew it when you walked in the door. So Jessica and I met at Social Media Day GTA recently, and I'm very happy to be here helping you guys learn about your LinkedIn profile and then what to do after the profile's done. So that's the big piece that I like to focus on, is the fact that yes, I'm going to go through your profile, and yes, I am going to talk about headshots, and yes, I'm going to encourage you to go get one done at the end. But I also want you to understand who you're connecting with and why and how to find them, and also what to do with all those connections. So actually to add value to your profile and to the feed of the people you're connected with. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about a lead generation system so that you guys can actually make money. Who here wants to make money? So the people who do not wish to make money and the people who did not raise their hands, you guys can leave. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to leave. So I'm going to have to multitask because I was hoping for a lapel mic, and now I have to kind of multitask with my phone here. Oh, cool. It already switched. So basically, I think LinkedIn sometimes gets a bad rap. I think LinkedIn, it's a professional network, and I use that in, multiple places I have on my screen here. But I think what people forget is that it's about you. Okay, so LinkedIn, your profile, everything is about you. It's about your professional brand. You can actually bring a little bit of fun into LinkedIn. We're going to talk about what that looks like a little bit later as well. But basically, the biggest thing that I like about LinkedIn, and you're going to hear me say that about 500 times today, the one thing I really like about LinkedIn is, because I actually really get really passionate and excited about this stuff. But one thing I like about LinkedIn is the fact that there's no cat videos. How many people are sick and tired of people posting cat videos and what they've had for lunch on Facebook? Does not bring me joy. So I like LinkedIn. It shows your professionalism. The difference between LinkedIn and the other social media networks as well is the mindset. Okay, people on LinkedIn are on a business mindset, which means they're there to learn, they're there to connect, and they're there to focus on their business. We're not talking about friendships. We're not talking about the long-lost cousin that we had from a long time ago and we want to see her wedding photos. I don't care that you just had all of this stuff when I'm in a business mindset. I'm focused on my business, and I'm focused on the connections that I'm making that will help grow my business. And I want value from you as a connection on LinkedIn. So you can read why LinkedIn's really cool. But basically, it's an essential part of your online footprint and your identity. And here's why. Because first thing people are going to do is they're going to Google you. If I hear of somebody like Paul, what's his last name again? I'm not going to repeat that because I'll probably get it wrong. But if I go home and I go, oh yeah, who was that guy that I met? I don't remember his name. or that I don't remember what he did. He explained it to me at the event, but I don't really remember what he did. I'm going to go Google him, and his LinkedIn profile is probably going to be the first thing that pops up. What's his profile going to show when I go Google him? That's what I should have looked at first. I should have brought an example of a profile that doesn't work. So why me? I've actually spent a lot of time studying social media. The whole reason why I got into social media in the first place was because my corporate job of marketing and branding, which is what Paul said in my introduction, was an amazing job, but I could no longer keep it because my son was diagnosed with autism and I needed to focus on his therapies. So I actually learned a lot about interaction, communication, and social media because of my child, because I had to learn. Because he needed to understand how to communicate, but I also needed to connect with people because I couldn't leave my house. So the people that I connected with the most lived inside my computer. So when I had a few minutes of my day, I could open up my laptop and there were my people. I connected with them on multiple social media platforms, and that was back in the day. That was probably, I mean, he's 12 now, so I mean, that was before social media was really big. So I learned how to interact with people using the knowledge that I had around social media and branding, but I also needed to make money, right? Because I couldn't have a traditional job. So I learned how all of this stuff worked, and about 2 years ago, I decided that I was gonna focus on LinkedIn. Because one day, literally, someone asked me, I've got to start shaking my phone, because apparently that's what's happening, is I'm going too far ahead. So I'm gonna put it over here. Someone asked me what my favorite social media platform was, and the answer was LinkedIn. And simply because it is a professional platform, and it is one where people are focused on business, and their mindset is business and it's professional. And I think we've, again, lost the word professional because we can still have fun. So the slide that you just saw was staying true to the brand. I went through the promotional product professionals of Canada, and I just really like this image, so I kind of stole it. But I did put their name there so that they know it was from there. But I really liked the branding on the site. I really liked what they stood for. I like the fact that they even use these green ties with all of their branding. If nobody's seen this page on the site, you need to probably go a little bit deeper into it. But I understood while looking at the site what the association was all about, but I also understood the who. Right? I was able to dive in and I understood the who of who they were talking to. So I'm going to look at that a little bit later. How many people, if you're a business owner, has heard the words know, like, trust? Have you heard that in the marketing world? Awesome. Most people have, so that's awesome because I've changed it. So the whole concept of the way people buy, and that's whether you're a distributor or whether you're a supplier, same concept applies. First and foremost, they want to know who you are. Nobody can do business with you, and nobody can buy from you if they don't know you exist. That's as simple as it gets. So that's the first thing that we need to have happen, is they need to know who you are. And we're gonna go through your profile so that you can understand what to put where, so that you can be found. That's number one. Then they need to relate to you. If you are solving their problem, they can relate to you. You need to understand the dynamics of your audience. So again, that goes back to, if you're a supplier, who's your customer? The distributors. Distributors, who's your customer? Understanding their needs. Then they can relate to you. Once they can relate to you and they see you as somebody who can solve their problem, then trust occurs. And that's where people buy, right? That's why I just took it, because the reason I took the word like out of there is because I don't actually believe that people need to like you. It's great if they do, but if you can offer them a service, they can respect you and they can relate to you and they know that you're going to solve it for them and they can you can make their lives easier, the like doesn't necessarily have to be there. So a few statistics about LinkedIn. I'm not going to go through all of them because I have about 1 million slides to go through, but the one that I really like is this one. So that's a pretty high number in regards to LinkedIn compared to some of the other platforms like Facebook. The other one I like is the one over here where it says LinkedIn generates more leads than Facebook, Twitter, or blogging. So this is why LinkedIn's really important, and this is why we're here today to learn more about it. But the other reason is because they passed 500 million users. There is over 500 million people on LinkedIn. If that doesn't convince you that this is a platform that you need to be on for your business, I'm not sure what will. So let's get going. So this is my acronym, Let LinkedIn Do the Heavy Lifting For You. If you do it right, and the way I'm going to show you today, it does not take a lot of your time. You do not need to spend hours and hours on LinkedIn on a day. You don't need to, quit your job and only focus on LinkedIn. That's not what we're talking about here. We're actually talking about basically working smarter, not harder. Okay? So let LinkedIn do the heavy lifting for you. Yes, it's an acronym, and I'm going to go through all of them. So the first thing we want to do is hook your client. And that basically means that they need to find you. And that goes back to, if they don't know you exist, they can't buy from you. So we need to make them aware of who we are. Right? So how are they going to find you? What do you have in your profile that makes them find you? How many people have heard this in the marketing world? You need to stand out online. You need to stand out online. You need to stand out. Have you heard that before? You need to stand out online. Ugh. Stop it. I'm saying it's actually not true, and here's why. Because if you actually fit in, and I'm talking about fitting into searches, okay? Short story. I had a friend, she's a mortgage agent. Everybody here know what a mortgage agent is? She came to me one day and said, I want to stand out online. I'm going to start calling myself a mortgage angel. And I went, okay, that's fine, except who on this planet is Googling and looking for a mortgage angel? I'm going to go with nobody. So that's all fine and dandy, but fitting into searches is more important than standing out and being creative with who we are and what we're trying to say, right? Make sure that we're fitting into searches, and that's understanding what your audience is looking for, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But basically, we want to make your profile profitable. We're here to make money, right? We want to make money. How many people here want to make money? Almost everybody raised their hand. Raise your hand again. Okay, now everyone can stay. So we want to attract the right person to your profile. And how are we going to do that? So I've already kind of talked about this, that when you Google someone's name, your LinkedIn profile is incredible when it comes to SEO. Incredible, right? It's probably going to be, and try it. I have all of my branding. I have my website as Stacy Maynard. Everything I do is Stacy Maynard. And my LinkedIn profile is still the first thing that comes up if you Google my name. So my LinkedIn profile better be good. What are people finding when they Google your name? When they meet you at an event, we were talking over here earlier, before we got started, we started talking about business cards. And people handing you business cards and meeting you at different networking events and stuff like that. And I don't know about you, but I forget. I get business cards, I get a stack of them, and I go home and I start Googling. Well, their Facebook's not coming up, their website's not coming up, I'm looking at their names, or I remember somebody. LinkedIn profile is going to be what comes up, so I would make sure that it looks good. So what is that going to look like? And what is your first impression of the world? And this is the truth, right? People often meet you online before they meet you in person. In a situation like this, you're going to an in-person networking. I actually got to meet everybody here for the first time. But you know what? Typically, again, I go back to when my son was diagnosed, people lived in front of my computer. My first impression of them was what I saw online. So this is my friend Linda. This was many, many years ago when I first found out who she was. I quickly took a screenshot because LinkedIn doesn't look like this anymore. Her profile doesn't look like this either, but she does give me permission to showcase this as an example of what not to do. So a couple of things that are wrong with this. Number one, the headshot. Super cute. She looks really friendly, but not professional. I told her to go take that photo and go put it over on Facebook. Put it on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Pick your social media channel of choice, not LinkedIn. So when we do the photos over there, not cutesy, professional. And of course, the other problem is there's a spelling mistake, which just pretty much makes me shudder. when I saw it. I'm like, I'm not sure we can be friends anymore. If you're having a spelling mistake in your LinkedIn profile, you need to change it now, but not before I do a screenshot. So make sure it's spelled correctly when you're doing your headline, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But then, you know, what's worse? Does everybody here have a photo on their LinkedIn profile? Everybody? Could it be better? Is it 10 years old? Could it be a better photo? Hopefully later on, you'll run over or trip over or literally walk into the photo booth right over there and get a good photo taken, because everyone looks really good tonight. So it's kind of like walking into a networking event with a paper bag over your head if you do not have a photo on your LinkedIn profile. Again, a lot of times people meet you online before they meet you in person, and you wouldn't show up to a networking event with a paper bag over your head. Therefore, you would not show up online without a photo. Or you could do this. This is also an example of what not to do. Taking a photo of our Prime Minister and putting it on a LinkedIn profile is probably not the best idea. I literally saw this about 5 minutes before one of my LinkedIn presentations, and I went, hang on, I've just got to add one more slide. And they're like, seriously? I'm like, no, I just saw this, and it was crazy. I couldn't believe that this existed, and he had asked me to be connected with him on LinkedIn. I'm like, sorry, Tyler, not going to do it. So don't pull other people's photos, and it actually did happen to my husband. He actually sent me a note and said, we have a problem. And I went, what's that? And he goes, there's somebody that stole my photo. And I went, okay, no offense, sweetie, but like I can see why someone would steal this photo. But why are they stealing your photo? I know it's kind of mean, but that's okay. Don't steal photos from other people. Make sure it is legit, that it is you on your LinkedIn profile. Because again, this is your first impression for people. We want to make sure it is a good and professional one. So this is my profile. I just want to use it as an example. I've got everything completed from my header. My photo is a professional one. I've got my headline, and I'm going to break all of these down and show you different examples of other profiles that I've done in the past, as well as profiles that I think are good examples, because I want you to see, so that when you see this later, I know it's being recorded, so you can watch this later as well, but also take note if you want to go on your phone and look at your own profile and do some comparison, or just make notes on where you need to update your own profile as we go through this. I have my name. A lot of people will put a lot of words there. Your name is fine. That's all you need. We don't need letters. We don't need any other documentation. We don't need what you do. That comes later. Your name is all we need. This is an area on LinkedIn that I actually just changed recently, which is really cool, is they actually put the contact information front and center. Now, I get a lot of pushback when it comes to what to include in the contact information, but I've got basic stuff like phone numbers, email addresses, websites, Twitter handle, which is, you know, whatever. And I get a lot of pushback on why I should include an email address and a phone number. Now, I don't know about you, but I would like to get business. I would like to get business from LinkedIn, and I would like people to be able to contact me to hire me. Anybody else in that same boat? Anyone else want to be contacted when they want to do business with you? If you make it difficult for people to find you by not putting contact information in your profile, they won't be able to actually contact you to do business. It's really important. So it's my mobile. If anybody would like to call me, it's right there. So I get frustrated when I go to somebody's LinkedIn profile because I go, oh, I need to call Scott Waters. So I Google Scott Waters because I've forgotten his phone number, even though it's on my phone now. And I go on his LinkedIn profile and I go, great, there's his phone number. I can call him. Perfect. And it was there, by the way, so you're good. Here is another LinkedIn profile. This is Faye Chappell. And I did her profile about 2 years ago. And one of the main parts that we focused on is the headline. I call this the top fold of your profile. Okay, so I'm kind of going through literally from top to bottom. But one of the big parts that I wanted to focus on this area is the headline. This is all I want to focus on here. It's 120 characters to say 3 things. Who you are, what you do, and how you help people. who you are, what you do, and how you help people. And it does all of this right here. Who is she? She's a global business strategist, professional speaker, and award-winning entrepreneur. What does she do? She coaches businesses. Who does she coach? Businesses. What does she help them do? She helps them achieve success. So we know all of those things about her just by looking at her profile. You don't need to read anymore. If you're not a business owner, you don't need her business, right? You can go on to the next profile that came up in your search. What does your headline say? The other reason that the headline is extremely important is because in the search results, or even in your news feed when you see people, this is what you see. This is the most important part of your profile. I'm gonna trip over this thing. So make sure 120 characters to really focus on those things. This is the thing that follows your profile around with you. So if you just say, for example, I use Scott as an example. If he said, owner at Waters Marketing, is that what it is? Awesome. Good, I remember that stuff. And that was the only thing in his headline. Great. I know he's the owner, so what? And he works for Waters Marketing, so what? I can tell what he does because it's over here. If it was his profile, it would tell me Waters Marketing right there. All I care about is what's in it for me. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But writing the profile for the person who is reading your profile. I'm sorry, but it is not all about you. Now, this is my mortgage angel. Her name is Colleen, and I do have permission to showcase her as an example of what not to do as well. I have really good friends. I realize that. So the header image is another aspect of your profile that is extremely important to focus on. It is a visual representation of what you do. I can tell very quickly if I want to connect with you just based on the picture that's there. If you've got some funky mountains in the background and a sunset photo, that's probably great for your Facebook header, but maybe not on LinkedIn. I want to see visually what you do. So if you're a professional speaker, like I am, maybe I would have a picture of me speaking up here. Maybe I would have that in my profile. I don't, I've just listed some words there, but that's my choice to do that. But what is visual? How can you visually represent you and your business and your brand? Because this is the first opportunity you have. There's a lot of opportunities later on in the profile of how you can visually represent you and your brand. But this is the first thing people see. We're talking the top fold. So we're talking somebody has Googled your name, and this is what they see. And if it's blank, they're moving on, right? So make sure that you've got a photo there. I really like the fact that before LinkedIn didn't have this, what they did is they moved everything up. So if you didn't have a photo, it wasn't so obvious, but now they force you to do it because now they actually leave it blank. So if you don't have a photo there, put one there. So this is sort of the bottom half of the top fold. This is your summary. Okay, so I'm just below. I've done the header, we've got your name, your headline, and now we have your summary. Okay, this is a gentleman by the name of Javed Khan, as you can see. He's my podcast partner in one of the podcasts that I have. And the summary is 3 lines until someone clicks show more. 3 lines. So now I don't know about you, I'm a skimmer. I'm going to admit it. If I look for you, I'm probably going to skim through. Your summary, I'll show you in a minute what that looks like. It's 2,000 characters. But until you click show more, you only see 3 lines. So make sure that those 3 lines are really crucial to what you want them to see. So they're really important because you want people to read it. You've spent a lot of time on your profile. You spent a lot of time doing your summary. You want people to read your entire profile, and you want them to read your summary. Even if they don't read anything else in your profile, you want them to read your summary. So what's your summary saying? But make sure that those 3 lines are completed. This is the other aspect. I'm going to show this a couple of times in regards to your profile. This is what we call the media section, okay? Media can be anything from photos, links to websites, videos, articles you've written, slide shares you've done, presentations, PDFs. If you have done something and there is you anywhere on the internet, you can put it here. Videos are better because these are links to his YouTube channel, and I can click on that and go right to the video and it starts playing. This is you in action. This brings your profile to life. This is what I love about this. It brings your profile to life. You can literally stand there in front of them and meet them for the first time, and they can get to see you in action without ever having to actually meet in person, because again, they live inside your computer. So I can click on that and I can see Javed in action. So now I know who he is, I know what he does, and now I can really get to know him, all through video. And we'll talk about video a little bit later, but think about what you could put here, whether it's a link to your site, whether it's a link to products that you offer, whether it's an article that you wrote, a video. I know some people actually do video introductions right there on their LinkedIn profile. Hi, my name is Stacy. Welcome to my LinkedIn profile. Like, that's what some people do, and I really encourage you to do that. And there's no excuses anymore, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but basically we have a video camera in our pocket now. No offense to the videographer at the back of the room. Sorry. But we do. We have a video camera in our pocket. So doing a video is no longer holding us back. The technology is no longer holding us back. Now we can go, this particular person, Javed, had 2. I'm just gonna say I have a little bit of balance OCD when it comes to doing profiles. So if you are gonna add media to your summary section, I always say do 2 or do 6. The reason being is because if you did 3, you'd go 1, 2, 3, and then this would all be empty and blank, and it just looks really off balanced. So satisfy me with my visual OCD aspect and have a balance. So she had 6 different things. She's done a lot of stuff. We were able to pull different parts of her website. She had a speakers page. We were able to pull that particular page and the image that came with it. She did a TED Talk. We were able to pull in her logo and other aspects of the business of what she did. And if you click on any of those, they're going to take you directly to what those links are. So again, think about what you can add to your profile from a media perspective. Again, photos, logos, slide shares, any of that stuff that will bring your profile to life. And of course, when you click Show More, you see all of this. 2,000 characters. You're shaking your head. It's a lot of information, but it's really important because this is where keywords come from. Remember I said you need to be found in order for people to do business with you? In order to do business, they need to know you exist. This is where the keywords are. Paul, what is one keyword for your business that you would want to be found for? Solutions? Great. So I would suggest that he uses the word solutions a few times in his LinkedIn summary. Because if the word solutions is not mentioned anywhere in his profile, he's probably not going to be found for that word. So what words can you guys think of right now for your own business that would be keywords that you would want to be found for? Just think of that SEO aspect. LinkedIn's really good here. Again, you want to be found. So what keywords can you use to bring your profile up in search results? Now, what we showed before, I just want to show you that these are some of the keywords that she wanted to be found for, and some of the key services and I guess that she offers and key aspects of what she does. I just like to break up the summary a little bit. I always say, think of me, I'm a skimmer. Things that are blocked off and lists and stuff kind of stop your brain from scrolling. So think about how you can mix it up from that perspective. And then you can see we only have 2 of those, that we had 6 on the previous page, right? There is 6 and you can click next. So if you do end up clicking on someone's summary, those media things are not gone. You just have to continue to scroll through and all 6 of them will be there, and that's where you can click on them. This is the experience section. Okay, so this is a little bit further down. It's hard to show the entire profile in one slide, so if anybody wants to see it later, or if anybody wants me to look at their particular profile really quickly, I can. But if you think about the top right, we've got the photo, we've got your name, we've got your headline, we've got your summary, and right underneath your summary is activity, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, and then we've got experience. Now, what I really like about the experience section, remember what I really like about LinkedIn is, what I really like about the experience section is it's not condensed. Okay, so remember the summary section was only 3 lines. This isn't condensed. So now you can write. I think it only shows about this much if you're going to use all 2,000 characters again. But now we get to focus a little bit different. Your summary is exactly what it says. It's a summary of your professional experience. It's a summary of you and your brand and your history and what you've done and your background and how you came to be who you are and your education and maybe some of the specialties that you have and some call to actions. Your summary is all of that stuff. But now we can break it all out. So this is your experience section. So this goes back to Faye Chappell again. She's one of her positions is the executive director of a project called One Red Lipstick. And we literally have the title there of who she is. Now that particular title can also get creative because remember who we're writing the profile for. It's not all about you, it's about the person who's writing the profile. So that's another 120 characters that we can use as a mini summary of the position. You can list out all the things you do. I don't know about you, but I do multiple things in my business. You represent multiple products. There's multiple things you can use there. Again, another 120 characters of what you do, but now you get to be specific about the business that you are, the business that you have, and what your business does and how you interact with clients. Again, this is the person that's read down. They're interested. But you also get the opportunity to add more media options here, right? More specifically, maybe it's a link to your website, maybe it's another video that you have done, maybe it's something specific about your company, maybe it's a branding video that you have in regards to how you can interact. So this is another opportunity as you go down. Now, do we need to put every single solitary job that we've ever had in our entire lives on our LinkedIn profile? No. Don't go back. I mean, same resume rules, right? We don't need to go back past, 10, 15 years. So Mel, you're gonna have that only because you've been doing it for 30 years. You have one job, so make it good. So, I had people, I was doing a profile yesterday, and the girl had from like the 1980 something, the high school job that she had. I'm like, I don't think this is relevant anymore. It wasn't relevant to her business. It wasn't relevant to her clients. It wasn't relevant to anything she had done. So we removed it from her profile. So think about that aspect when you're doing this, and think about how many jobs and what you can put. The other thing you can do, which is what I've done, I just want to showcase this for a second and say, look at this in a second. The other thing you can do is you can put different parts of your business as different experience sections. So in my particular case, my first part of my job is that I'm a LinkedIn specialist and all that kind of stuff, but the other aspect of my job is that I'm a professional speaker and trainer. So I've actually separated those out. Instead of just having one experience, I now have multiple, so that I don't have to put it all in one. And what LinkedIn's done recently is they actually put this little line here, is they actually show you that it's all the same company, which is really cool. I really like the fact that they did that, because what that does is it shows progression. It also shows if you've done, in the past, if you've had multiple positions at the same company, it shows that professional history, which is really, really cool. Anyone know who these guys are? Please don't tell anybody, but yeah, they're missing a header photo. But basically what happens in your experience section, if you do, and it was actually hard to find this, if you click on, so you saw in the One Red Lipstick, you see in mine, you have a logo there. If you click on the logo, it takes you to the company page. Yeah, Paul, make a note of that. He's doing that right now. So I was really hoping to show the great photo that they had here, but unfortunately I couldn't. But what I would like to show you is that if there is a logo there, it takes you to a company page. And the question that I get asked the most in regards to their LinkedIn profile, they go, can you add my logo there in the experience section? And I tell them that I can't unless you have a company page. I can't just put your logo there. You have to have a company page and then upload your logo to the company page, and it pulls from the company page. So that's the difference here. So basically what I've done is you've clicked on that and you pull in the company page. So if you do not have a company page, you will not have your logo there. Is that important? To some people it's extremely important because they want their logo and they want that visual branding there. I wanted to have it there specifically because I wanted to showcase examples like this, but I did PPPC instead. But this is where it's pulling from, in case you're wondering. Company pages, I kind of a fence sitter on this one, because LinkedIn literally yesterday pulled out the LinkedIn pages rug from under us, and they're actually revamping their pages. So watch for some changes that are coming for company pages if you do have one. If you are your own business, is everybody here their own business? Raise your hands. Everybody here their own business? So typically somebody who's their own business won't necessarily have a company page. Who here is actually representing a specific company? I know Jessica is. So they may have a company page. So look for that and make sure that if it's not, if you haven't pulled that in, make sure it's typed in properly. It's the way that the company page is listed to make sure that you're pulling that logo. All right, so we've hooked them. They've been able to find us. When they've Googled our name, they've clicked on something, the link in the Google, and they've found us and they've looked at our profile and we're good. Okay, now we need to actually establish our network, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky because everybody in the room is probably going to have a different answer to this question. Who should I connect with? Jessica and I were having a conversation earlier about, past connections and what do we do, and I know I was having that conversation over here with Lauren as well. What do I do with all of these connections? I have a lot of them, now what? But we do want to increase our connections. That increases and expands our network, right? We can't just sit there with our, 2 people in the room kind of thing. We definitely want to connect with more people and we definitely want to expand our network, but the question is to who? Right? And this is where I'm going to have a little bit of a conversation about the different people in the room. So who here are distributors? Perfect. So you are going to have a different target audience. Who's your target audience? What kind of clients? Clients who want to buy promotional products. Awesome. So that would end up being, that could be anybody. That could be a company, it could be any sort of end user. Her client is anybody that wants to buy professional products. Would you all agree that if you're in her role, that that's pretty much who you want to sell to? So who does she want to connect with? She wants to connect with people and companies who want to buy promotional products. That's going to be the target, and those are the people that she's going to want to find on LinkedIn. What are the keywords in their profile? That's what she needs to figure out. We need to make sure that we're connecting with the right people. Now, if we have 1,000 other connections from our past life, that's okay. Maybe they know people who want to buy professional products, right? We also have in the room suppliers. Jessica, you're a supplier. Who is your client? Distributors. Exactly. Paul, I'm not talking about you. Because you're complicated. I'm just kidding. So the suppliers want to connect with distributors because clearly they want those distributors to sell their products to the end user, right? So the who you want to connect with, but also keeping in mind that this is where people are going to find you as well. Now, connecting with people, there are people out there, they're called Lions. They're called LinkedIn Open Networkers. They will connect with anybody. I'm not one of them. I have a 3 strikes out, your 3 strikes you're out rule. If you don't have a professional photo, I won't connect with you. If you did not send me a personalized connection request, which I'm going to show you in a minute, I will not connect with you. And if you don't have any contact or any connection to anybody that I'm connected with, I don't connect with you. So if you have one of those 3 strikes, then you're out. So if you're connecting, you know who you're going to connect with, and that's a really important aspect to understand before we start going through. And the reason I start with your profile is because I want you to do that first. I don't want you to get to this part. I don't want you to start connecting with people until your profile's done. Why is that? Because once you connect with them, the first thing they're going to do is check you out. And I want you to look professional when they land on your profile. But when you reach out to them, there's two ways that you can connect with people. You can connect directly, or you can be introduced. And this is one of the things I love about LinkedIn. But I encourage you, and LinkedIn encourages you as well, to use a personal note. Even if you're on the app, there is a way to personalize your connection request. I cannot stress this one enough. If you introduce yourself and explain why you want to connect with them, they're going to be more likely to connect with you. But it also starts the relationship off on the right foot, right? Today, Jessica walked in the room. I was up here testing all the technology. And what's the first thing that Jessica said to me? Okay, well, actually, you said, do you remember me? But she started with a question. She started with an introduction of a hello. She didn't just walk up and kind of stand in front of me and walk away, right? You actually become engaged with each other and you end up having a conversation. So is that the first thing? Like when I came in, Scott walked up, shook my hand. Hello, it's nice to meet you. This is Paul. Paul, nice to meet you. We shook hands. We introduced each other. We started a conversation. If you just go, I want to connect with you without a customized connection request, without writing a personal note, it's like you're kicking the relationship off. It's basically like I hand you my business card and I walk away. How many people want to start relationships with people who hand their business card to them and walk away? Nobody, right? Same concept. Now, I do receive some great, let me backtrack a little bit. I do get some great connection requests, and this is one that I received from somebody I didn't know. And she just wanted to connect with me because she saw my name in a few times in different posts and stuff, right? I hope you have a wonderful week. I'd like to extend an invitation to connect on LinkedIn. I see we have a number of shared quality connections and groups in common. Would love to learn more. Great. I didn't know who she was. We ended up having a fantastic conversation. That's how relationships start. She said hello, and then I responded back. I don't like it when I get connected. So if anybody in this room would like to connect with me, I'm absolutely open to that. Please send me a personalized note. You can also do something else.
Question, can those be standardized? I know you shouldn't really necessarily, would that be something you use? Can you create an introduction that you can reuse?
100%. So I call that a template. I encourage you to have them. I don't know about you, but I hate typing out individual notes all the time, especially if you're going to use something similar. So the only thing that I would suggest you do is at least put their name in there, and then you can paste, copy and paste that template. No, you'd have to write that. So you'd have to write one yourself and use that as a template because we want it to sound like you. If you use one that somebody else wrote, then that's not good for you and your brand. That's the same thing as not personalizing the note because it's using what LinkedIn already puts there. Because LinkedIn already says, I'd like you to join my professional network on LinkedIn. So I want you to make it more personal. And the other aspect that's dangerous about using too many templated texts is it still sounds robotic and they still don't know why you want to connect with them, right? Again, making it all about the person on your network, not about you. So I'll show you some examples a little bit later of messages that I've received that have been templated and automated, and it's not good. So the other way that you can connect with somebody is to be introduced, which is exactly what happened when I walked in the room today. I walked up to Scott. We already knew who each other was because he checked me out and I checked him out. So we knew what each other looked like. And then he introduced me to Paul. I had never met Paul before. He introduced me. The trust was already there. We had a good conversation. But in LinkedIn's world, you basically share your profile into a message and say, hi, I'd like to introduce you to, I think you guys would really hit it off, or I think you guys would be good to be connected with each other. Very similar to the in real life concept, but the difference is that there's a trust factor there, right? Paul trusted me because Scott introduced me to him, I hope. But if he hadn't, I mean, he could have very easily walked up to me and said, "Hi, you're Stacy, you know, I know you know Scott," and we could have continued to have that conversation. But it was better for Scott to introduce me. So think about that. Think about those real life and how you engage with people and bring that to the LinkedIn world. Yeah. How many people in this room know stuff? I really hope everyone's going to raise their hand. Everybody here knows stuff. Something about something. Does anybody here know anything about promotional products? Awesome. Everybody should be raising their hands. So this is where the first two steps is kind of where people stop when it comes to the LinkedIn world, right? They stop. They go, okay, I've done my profile and I've connected with people. And they walk away from LinkedIn. And what I say is this is where it begins. Because having connections and collecting connections is not going to help your business if you're not showcasing your ability and staying in front of them as an expert in your field, right? We want to showcase your abilities because everyone in the room has them. Everybody in this room has abilities and they know stuff. So how do we actually use LinkedIn to showcase that so we're seen as an expert in our field? Now, remember what I said earlier, this is all people care about. I have bad news if you think that everyone is going to drop everything that they're doing just because you think you have something wonderful to say. I'm sorry, that's really horrible of me to say that and make you aware of that. But the thing is that people want to know what's in it for them. How are you helping them? How are you solving their problems? Right? She said, I want to talk to people and sell products. People who need promotional products. If she just focused on what she wanted to talk about, they're not going to understand that she's trying to solve their problem. So this is one thing that you do need to think about when it comes to the what's in it for me, what's in it for me, that's what's in it for me. That's all they're thinking about when you're talking. So there's lots of things you can do to showcase your ability, right? You can share an article, a photo, a video, you can do it. This is where it becomes kind of very Facebook-y, right? But think about the content. Think about the content that makes sense for your customers. Think about the content that makes sense for them and their problems. What are you solving and how are you solving it? Are you going to showcase an article that either you've written or that somebody else has written as to why promotional products are really beneficial and should be part of their marketing campaigns? What does that look like? What does it look like for an end user to give a product, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, a product that has their branding on it? My son came home, yesterday was Take Your Kid to Work Day. And I think my husband's company raided the marketing closet because he came home with a bag of promotional products, all branded with his company. And it was a really great thing for them to walk away with. But now he's taking some of that stuff to school, and now his business is now in front of everybody, right? I thought that was a really brilliant opportunity and a really great way to get their brand out there. Now, you can share an image, you can share an article, but one of the parts that I really like, is an article. How many people have used this feature on LinkedIn? Anybody? Has anybody published an article? The guy who's leaving. Awesome, I love that. Okay, you're getting a tea, awesome. This is a really great, and nobody else has used this feature? This is awesome, okay? So what this does when you click share an article, because the rest of it's like a post, right? You can post a photo, you can post a link to an article, but it basically opens up into a blog editor. Okay, so it opens up into this, but the most important thing to notice is it goes into the LinkedIn publishing world. It's called Pulse. So when you share an article or you write an article, okay, you can you put an image at the top, you write what your title is in the headline, and you can add in all kinds of different media and video and links and all that kind of stuff. It basically becomes a really cool blog editor. So if you don't have a blog, you don't need one. It's right here. But I encourage you, and I'll show you where that shows up on your profile, because this is a really great way to showcase you as an expert in your field. Sometimes the word blog becomes a 4-letter word, but basically it's like writing an article. It's funny, I remember asking somebody, I'm like, could you write me a blog? And they're like, oh, I can't write a blog. I'm like, could you write a small article on that topic? Oh yeah, no problem. Right? If you did a video, anything like that, you can put here because it goes into the LinkedIn publishing world. So if I'm looking for information on a particular topic and I Google it, LinkedIn's great with SEO, we already know that, your article might be popping up. Well, wouldn't that be great? Right? And then at the end, they see your profile, they know who you are, there's a call to action at the bottom of the article, there's all kinds of stuff you can do here. Right? So it's something you should really think about taking advantage of, is using the publishing world to showcase your ability. And this is where it shows up. Go ahead. No, it is public. It's 100% public. So this is where it shows up on your profile. Okay? So you can see all the articles. So this is kind of, basically it's, you know, it's kind of just below the top fold, so you have your header photo, your name, and all of that kind of stuff. You've got the first 3 lines of your summary, and then you see this. So this is where I kind of say, you know, it's really great that you guys think you're awesome, but now I want to see what other people are saying. What kind of activity do you have on LinkedIn? Because if this entire section is missing from your profile, you're not using LinkedIn at all, except maybe just to stalk people. Because I know people who just, you know, they go through their feed and they don't do anything. Even if you like something, even if you just click like, it's going to come up here. But again, this is where I love the articles, is because it shows up here. And I go, oh, okay, what does she have to say? What is her voice? What is her brand? What is her knowledge? Any of that stuff. But you can also see the things that I like and comment on. And this is where I tell people to be a little careful. I kind of ran into this with a client. And he goes, well, I started liking and commenting on all this stuff from my old college buddies. And I went, that's a problem. What were you saying? And he was, oh, I was just joking around about all the good times we were having and stuff like that. And I went, I can see that on your profile. He goes, I'm sorry, what? And I could see it right here that he had commented on this really weird post. And I could easily see the comments. And he goes, okay, hang on, I've got to go because I need to go and adjust some of the things that I've been commenting on. So he went through his own activity and started deleting some of those comments. So understand that your likes and your comments are visible, but make sure that they're professional and they're not, you know, days of partying and all of that kind of stuff. Keep it professional because people are seeing it. Now, the other thing that you can do is a video. There is not a social media platform on the planet today that is not going full force into the video world. It was the top social media trend for 2016. It was the top social media trend for 2017, 2018. It is now going into 2019, and I remember Mark Zuckerberg said 2 years ago that Facebook would be 95% video by the year 2019. Okay, it hasn't moved as fast as he thought it would, so now we're at about 85% video by 2020. We're not that far off. If there is anybody here that is nervous or is uncomfortable about doing video, put a video camera in front of your face and start talking. You can always delete it. I'm not asking you to go live, but this is a way that you can bring your profile to life and showcase your area of expertise in a way that no one else can. I could write an article and sound like Lauren. I could write an article and sound like Jessica. I could probably even write an article and sound like Paul. Maybe not. But I can't do a video without showcasing who I am and my personality. And that's why video is so huge. Now, I know that there's people out there who are saying that they're tired of video. They like to go back to text-based articles and posts so they can just skim through it while they're sitting there. Trust me, I'm a mom of a hockey kid, and while I'm at the rink, sometimes the game's really boring and I start to scroll. Don't tell him that. And I start to scroll a little bit, and all of a sudden a video pops up and then the sound goes off, and I'm like, hang on, I'm pressing mute and trying to calm it down. So yes, would I sometimes like more text-based posts? Sure, but that's not the way that the world is going. LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those ones are going towards video, and that is why video has to be part of your plan. There all the social media sites are giving more, I call it kind of SEO juice, algorithm juice, whatever you want to call it, to video. And you don't need a lot of money, fancy equipment. This is all you need is your phone, simply because of the trust factor, right? You've got a message that you want to share on LinkedIn. You've got an audience of people that you want to share it with because we've already connected with a bunch of people. And now if we add video, that whole trifecta equals trust. And remember at the very beginning, the first thing I said was, that's the funnel. We want to get people to get to know you, then they can relate to you and they understand that you can solve their problem. And the last funnel, the place where people buy, is trust. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of statistics if you don't believe me, but 95% of messages will be retained by viewers, while only 10% with trust. How many people want to be remembered? Of course we do. Video speaks louder, right? 83% of marketers would create more videos, I know, but this is your budget. Everybody here have a phone? Everybody in this room have a phone? Yes? Then you all have a budget for video. There's no excuse anymore. The cameras in these phones are fantastic. The audio in these cameras are fantastic. 85% more likely to buy after watching a video because the trust is so huge. And this is all you need. This is me doing a video. I've got a microphone. Oh yeah, that's right, I don't need a microphone. I've got it on a tripod. That's just because I'm a nerd, tech nerd. We kind of proved that earlier. I have like connections and I have like adapters and stuff in my purse all the time, which is crazy. But you don't need a lot of stuff anymore. You literally have a TV camera in your pocket. So a lot of people ask me the question of vertical videos versus horizontal videos. And that is going to be determined by where you are posting it. 95% of people will watch videos on their phones. So if it's strictly for social media, great, do it vertically, right? You don't need to worry about it. You hold your phone and you start recording. If you're going to put it on something like YouTube or on your website, do it horizontally. It just switched the whole world of video. Literally, I just saw an article yesterday where it was all about horizontal. Everyone was saying, do horizontal videos because people who have phones can just flip them and all of that kind of stuff. But now they're saying that because of Instagram TV and Instagram posts and stories, I'm waiting for LinkedIn Live, but LinkedIn, you can upload a video and it looks good on a mobile. So you don't have LinkedIn Live yet. That's coming, I hope. And but the most important thing is you can record a video right on your phone and upload it to LinkedIn immediately. Paul?
Do you use a video editing software for active video? So for example, you create what you do here, you basically edit and after you start that.
You know what I do? Trim. That's all I use. I go edit. So I use my camera on here. I literally take a selfie video. I press record. I wait a few minutes, a couple of seconds. Then I start, and then I end, and then I go and I press. Yep. And then I just go edit, and I trim those two ends where I'm actually pressing the record button. No software at all, because you don't need it. Now, if you want to get into fancy editing, go ahead. I don't have that much time. These guys would be great at it, I'm sure. But video, 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 and more video. I can't emphasize that trend enough to go that route when it comes to your social media. And I know I see a lot of cringy faces right now of going like, please don't make me do video. I'm terrified. I'm just telling you the stats, and I'm telling you that each social media channel will give more visibility to posts that use video. Now, I told you that LinkedIn was going to do the heavy lifting for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook our audience. We're going to do our profile, and we're going to optimize our profile with keywords that are going to be found when our clients are looking for us, right? Then we are going to engage with our connections. We're going to find out who they are and make sure we're building our connections with the right people and the funnel of the right people. We're going to showcase our ability. We're actually going to post on LinkedIn, because it's one thing to have the connections, but we need to stay in front of the connections. I don't know about you, but I forget about people. If you don't stay in front of me after I connect with you, I'm going to forget. I want, the people I connect with and the people who stay in front of me, they get my business. It's like, oh yeah, that's the person. That's the person I want to buy from. When it's time to buy, you want you to be the person that they think of, right? So then we are showcasing our ability, and we've got video, as much as I see a lot of cringy faces. But the why is yourself. And this is, again, where trust comes in, right? I could do a really fancy marketing video and showcase all kinds of cool images of different things that are going on, but the best video is going to have me in it because of the trust factor that occurs when people get to know who you are. That's the final aspect, and this is where you actually get to stand out, right? When you have a strong personal brand. Having a strong personal brand is extremely important. It was actually interesting. I was speaking at a conference, and it was a lot of corporate directors on boards, corporations, and they came up to me afterwards and they're like, why do we have to have a brand now? Why can't we just put ourselves out there and put our LinkedIn profile out there and people find us and they buy from us? And I said, that was 20 years ago. It doesn't work like that anymore, right? We need to brand ourselves. We need to understand who we are, because just because you sell a product doesn't mean that everyone who wants that product is going to buy it from you. You need to be the person that I want to buy that from. And that comes into branding. That comes into understanding that, you know what, you're the person that I relate to more than somebody else. So think about that, because your brand goes worldwide. And this is where you get to stand out. So remember I asked you right in the beginning, everyone's telling you to stand out online. Well, first they need to find you, so you need to fit into those searches. But when they do find you, you need to stand out within the people that need to buy that product, right? So whether that's competitors or somebody that does something similar, whatever the case is, now you need to stand out. Now you need to differentiate yourself with the people who want your products or services. Now, a lot of people go, oh, well, but if I build up too much of a brand and I build up too much of an identity or whatever, then I can't change it. I built this brand and people know me for a specific thing and a specific look, and then I can't change it. And I go, yeah, you can. Coke did it, right? We're talking about branding, we're talking about logos, we're talking about people. If you don't like the way that your brand looks out there, change it. It's your brand. You can do whatever you want with it. Now, the difference between a corporate commercial brand like this versus a personal brand is that we're talking about your personality. I want to have fun. I want to understand. I want to buy and deal with people that are really nice. I've met actually really cool people in this room, which is really great. But each one of the people that I've met have different personalities, they have different backgrounds, they have different reasons and passions why they're doing what they're doing, and that's perfect, which means they're going to interact with different types of people and different types of clients, and that's exactly what you want. You want to bring that personality through so that when somebody's ready to buy, they go, I really like that person, I really like Scott, or I like Jessica, or Paul, or anybody else I've met in the room. I really like that person, that's the person I want to buy from. And that's what you want them to think, which is really cool. Now, one question, and yes, you actually have to answer this one. What is the point of social media overall? Paul, what's the point of social media? I told you, you shouldn't have sat in the front row. Okay, Scott, what's the point of social media? Jessica, you're not allowed to answer because I think you already know the answer. Nope. Nope. Same for everybody. It's top of mind. Anybody else? What's the point of social media? Connections. What's the point of social media? Connections? Anybody else? What's the point? Socialize. To socialize. I love that one. What? Get your message out. Anybody else? What's the point of social media? I'm going back to you. A different answer? Personal ego. The point of social media. Okay, you're all wrong. The whole point of social media is to get off of social media. Get off. The whole point of social media is to get off of social media. How many people in this room can do business with another human being while staying on social media? Can you sell your products on social media? How? How do you sell your products on social media? If you can do it, I'd love to know. You can market your ideas on social media, 100%, and then you can connect with them, and then they can call you, and then they can buy it, and then they can ship it. And in order to do that, they need to get off of social media. You can send them a link to your website to go check out all the products that you have. You're still taking them off of social media. How can you sell your products on social media? Because I haven't found a way. So if there is one, I'd love to know it.
I buy things on Instagram all the time.
Right, okay. Absolutely. Yep, but you're still clicking to a site. You're still, even though it's keeping you within Instagram, same with Facebook, right? You're still going to an external website. You're not going to Instagram.com, you're still going to an external website to purchase that product. And yes, and I love that. And you know what? I get taken in with Facebook and Instagram ads all the time. And it's great, but sorry? It's not so great when you spend a lot of money, I agree. But the number one thing is that you cannot, and especially for you guys, you physically cannot sell a physical product to anybody on social media. So therefore, the point of social media is to get off of social media. So what do we need to do? So that's the last piece. So we have connected with people on LinkedIn, but the magic happens when you send them a direct message. And that's why this slide is up here right now. This is the direct messaging platform. This is where you actually get to know people. This is where the whole entire lead generation system, if anybody out there and you see it, they will sell you thousands and thousands of dollars you can spend with them. And they will do a lead generation system for you. And what they are doing is they're reaching out to your connections via direct messaging. So they build the relationship, but they want to get a phone call with you. In order to usually, because I know I was talking to somebody, she represented a specific product, and she says, if I can just get them on the phone. Remember the phone? We used to use that in the olden days. If I can just get them on the phone, I can convert them. They will become a customer. I'm like, that's great. We just need to get them on the phone. So she started using this. She started direct messaging her connections, and she started getting them on the phone. Now, here's a couple of direct messages that I've received after connecting with people. The one on this side, I don't have too much of a problem with, but the main issue I have with this one is it says, I will share more about what I do. How is that positioning me? Again, what's in it for me? I don't know him. He asked me to connect. He sent me a good personalized connection request. I said yes, and this was the first message he sent to me. And I'm like, do you know what I do? Are you positioning how it's going to help me? Because that's going to encourage me to get on the phone with you. The other one over here made me just laugh my head off. This is why I say be careful with automations. I am not a personal trainer. I couldn't be further from a personal trainer if I tried. My profile, under no way, shape, or form, could he find me under personal trainer. The only thing I can think of is that the word personal came up because of personal brand, and the word trainer came up because I'm a LinkedIn trainer. However, he sent that. So I literally wrote, Scott, not you, I literally wrote him back and said, you may want to check your automations because it picked my profile, and you sent me a direct message asking me about personal training. And he wrote me back apologizing. But still, that's not cool. So your first introduction to somebody, when you send them a direct message, make sure that it's appropriate, and that's where I have some challenges with some automations out there. Now, how much time do I have? I'm make sure I don't go over. Oh, great. Perfect. Do you know, Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Do you know how many people you need to talk to in order to get one person that says, yes, I would like to buy your products? Do you know that answer? Okay. So does anybody here know that answer? You should. Okay. So the reason I put this up here is because how many people, so if you asked 10 people and 9 of them said no and 1 of them said yes. So now let's go back to my girl who was using LinkedIn and she was sending messages to people and she goes, all I need is to get them on the phone. And if I get them on the phone, I'm going to convert them to a customer. So I said, how many people did you have to ask? And she goes, I sent 10 messages. And if I send 10 messages, I get 1 that says, yes, they'll talk to me. And remember, her conversion rate on the phone is 100%. So how much time does it take to send 10 messages? Going back to your question about templates, that's where you would use the templates. 100%. She sent some pretty standardized, she personalized the templates, but she used a lot of common language around it. But she sent out 10 messages every day, and every day she got 1 person on the phone. Therefore, she was converting a person a day to a customer to buy something. That was worth it to her. So my question to you is it worth it to you? So if you know how many people you need to ask to get a yes, and if you have to ask 300, then this might not work for you. But you have to think about how many people you're asking, because this is where it comes. You're connecting with a lot of people. Maybe you're connecting with 20 a day. Maybe you're reaching out to 5 that day for a direct message. Maybe 1 of them saying, yes, I'll talk to you. Great. Is that worth it to you? I would say yes. So in the last few minutes that I have, before we get into Q&A, I want to just go over what the plan looks like. Okay, and I'll hold the screen at the end if I know a lot of people take pictures. This is literally what I want you to do on LinkedIn. This is what I coach my clients to do. I'm not a keep secrets kind of girl. I'm not the person that's a information hog and go, you know what, I want to share with you exactly what I tell all of my clients to do on LinkedIn. The first thing we've already talked about, the first thing is to do your profile. That is non-negotiable, to have an updated profile and a complete profile. You don't have to update your profile every day though. The second thing you need to do is connect with people. That's pretty straightforward. We're going to understand the who. So once you understand who you're looking for and those keywords, maybe it's location-based, maybe they have specific titles, maybe they're marketing managers or something along those lines. Who are you connecting to and what do they have in their profile so you can find them and you're reaching out. You're going to do this every day. Okay, you don't have to do it every day. I'm not going to tell you what to do every day. I'm just going to tell you what to do. So then you're going to post. So you're going to write an article. I'm not telling you to write an article every day. Please don't write an article every day, especially if you connect with me. I'm begging you. But you're going to post every day. I want you to use LinkedIn. How many people are committed to using LinkedIn to grow their business? Come on. Come on. Raise your hands. Come on, you can do better than that. Committed. If you're not going to use LinkedIn to its effectiveness, right? This is using LinkedIn, right? It's great to have a profile, it's great to have connections. This is the part where using it comes in. This is the part that I haven't really talked about yet. This is the listening aspect. How many people here want other people to engage with their content if they posted something? Do you want someone to click like? Do you want someone to comment? Acknowledge that you even posted anything in existence? You want people to do that, right? That's the whole point of us posting stuff, is so other people will see it, and you want that engagement. We hear about that word all the time. We want people to engage with our content. Well, guess what you have to do? You have to engage with other people's content. Now, I've received some really interesting connection requests from people simply because I've engaged in the same content that they have. We've both liked it, we've both commented, our personalities come through, my opinions come through, which is also really important. So the liking and commenting become really important in regards to your LinkedIn strategy, but it really has to be part of your listening strategy. And that doesn't mean spending hours going through your feed and getting sucked into the world of social media, but you know what? You do need to go through your feed, whether it's on your phone or whether it's on your computer, you do need to take that time, even if it's 5 minutes. Even if it's 5 minutes in the time that you're going to spend on LinkedIn, spend 5 minutes, do a comment on a couple of posts. Remember, that's on the front of your profile too, what you're engaging with, but it shows an activity. It shows that you're using LinkedIn, and people are more likely to connect with people who are active on LinkedIn. So the listening strategy really needs to be important. And then we're going to start direct messaging our connections. We're going to reach out. Hi, I'd really like to learn more about you and what you do. I'd really like to have a better understanding of you and your business. Would you be interested in a quick conversation, a quick virtual coffee? Pick your verbiage on what works for you, but get them off of social media. That's where the magic happens. We need to take them offline. And then do it all over again. But what I tell people is once they're at this point, at the repeat, skip over your profile. Okay, because you don't need to do your profile every day. You do need to do your profile, look at it. If anything changes in your business, if anything is updated, even if it's just you want to refresh your look, or a phrase or a tagline has come into your world, or a positioning that you want to showcase a little bit differently, make sure that you're updating your profile accordingly. But if you're good and everything there is still good, I just suggest that you go look at it every once in a while. But it's good. Your keywords are there, your photo's there, your headline is there. All of that stuff is really good in your profile. Then you can skip that part, but consistently growing your network with new connections, and consistently and constantly updating your LinkedIn. It's not just your profile, now it's the whole platform. You're updating, you're writing articles and you're posting, but you're also spending time in your feed and you're listening. Then you're taking it offline, and then you're selling, then you're making money, right? This is the whole lead generation concept of understanding who you're connecting with, taking that offline, and getting them through a funnel. And I'm okay, even if I receive a message from somebody who I've connected with offering me value. Maybe they're offering me a free piece of something to get me on their email list. I'm good. If that's real value, that's great. I love receiving those messages from people who offer me value first before reaching out to connect with me. Unlike the guy who sent me a message that just says, I want to tell you what I do, right? I want to see that you're offering me value, and that's where the content strategy comes in. What value can you provide so that you're seen as the expert in your field, so that people, when it comes to doing business, on whatever side of the business you're on, that you're the person that they want to buy from, or you're the person that they want to represent the products on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If you have more questions, Stacy's going to be available while we're taking pictures. But as we end here, I just wanted to thank you, Stacy, for this amazing and insightful bit of information with regard to LinkedIn. I know at the start I asked everyone if they knew how to create a profile, and we knew how to like pictures, but I think we've all taken it to the next. We can all take our profiles to the next level now. And I know for me, maybe making my profile more professional. Creating a professional identity, and also being able to, have people know who I am, relate to me, and trust me through a simple page on the internet is something, a task for me after today that I'm going to go do and review. So thank you for.
Because now I'm going to
that.
go look at your profile.
And I'm sure we've all got some take-backs as well. But thank you for today, Stacy. Thank you to everybody for coming. I also want to thank Scott and Jessica for all the effort they put into organizing today's event as well. We do have one last event, and it's our AGM. It'll be taking place in 2 weeks at Scotiabank Pond after the hockey tournament. So you are all welcome. There will be food available for you. Be a very quick summary of our year's events and what we'll be looking forward to for next year. But for now, I invite you to get a professional picture, have some food, coffee, and safe drive home, everyone. Thank you for coming today.